Hello guys and welcome back. Today it is Monday and I'm sat down in my office. I've got my Pepsi Max and I'm just working through a little bit of admin, getting my week sorted, getting my week planned and a few other little bits and bobs. So I ended up actually not really filming much at all last week because I was not very well. I had that horrible cold cough thing that's going around at the minute, and honestly it just absolutely wrote me off. And you'll know, if you own your own business, it's quite difficult taking time off when you are a kind of solo business owner, shall we say, and it's difficult. You guys will know, if you have your own businesses and stuff like that, like it's really difficult to kind of take time off. You can't just have a sick day. So I ploughed on and I actually went away for a weekend, which was really lovely. I went to Poole, Bournemouth area to go and see basically Will's sister Molly for her birthday. So that was really lovely. We had a lovely little time, walked the dogs on the beach. The sausages absolutely loved it. They were like digging around in the sand, which was so cute. But yeah, we're back now, back in the office, back to normal and a full working week ahead, which is super exciting. So I actually, this morning, I got up and I went to the gym really early. It's now like 1 o'clock. I'm just about to head off actually in about 5 minutes. I've got a nail appointment and a lash and a brow appointment, so it's a big appointment today. But yeah, I get my lashes done like LVL, and then my brows, I'm gonna get my brows laminated. So I've got to head off for that appointment soon. So basically I got up and I went to the gym. I was in the gym by 6:30. Which is early for me, So I've actually changed my routine a little bit recently, and I've started getting up and going to the gym in the morning. So I am currently training 5 days a week at the minute. So I'm on a upper, lower, pull, push, leg split. So I do 5 gym sessions, strength sessions a week, and then I'm currently doing 2 20-minute cardio sessions, and I do abs as well 3 times a week. So I'm doing like quite a lot of training at the minute, obviously in a building phase, as is the plan for like the back end of the year. But essentially I've just started going to the gym in the morning because since I've been self-employed, really since I've had my own business, I have always gone to the gym like in the middle of the day. So I've got up, walked the dogs, done some work, gone to the gym, and then done some work. But recently I've just been finding that I don't know, I just have been struggling quite a lot, I guess, with it like breaking up my day. So I thought, actually, you know what? I'm definitely more a morning person over an evening person. So I thought, I'm going to get up and I'm just going to go to the gym near me. I'm going to get up, go first thing in the morning, and then I've got basically a full day of work, and I can just pop up for an hour at lunch and walk the dogs, which isn't like such a big break. Like I don't have to shower and stuff. Whereas if I go to the gym in the day, I need to then shower, put makeup on again, blah, 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 blah. And it's just quite consuming. So I've decided I am becoming an early gym person. So that's my new little thing at the minute that I'm trialing out. Yeah, so that's basically what has going on. Long tangent about my gym training regime right now. So yeah, I'm getting up, I'm training. I'm having Wednesday as a little rest day at the minute. So that's like my midweek rest day. So I train Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, have Wednesday and Sunday off. And Wednesday, I'm actually really excited about this, but I am starting to go to Pilates. So just mat Pilates, because I had my surgery, my core surgery, well, not core surgery, but it was through my core a few months ago now. And I really want to start Pilates to try and like help. Now I've done all my rehab stuff just to try and like help with my like core stabilization. So there's actually a really cute studio. I will show you when it opens. Well, it has opened, but I'll show you when I go. But they haven't launched the like mat-based Pilates yet. It looks so nice and aesthetic. It's got an adults only coffee shop, which that sounds like the dream. So I'm really excited to go and be able to do some work there. But yeah, that's my plan. I'm going to go when they launch their mat-based Pilates. I'm going to go and do like a little Pilates session on a Wednesday morning. I'm really hoping they have maybe like a 7 a.m. Pilates session, because then I can get up, go, be back home for like 8 a.m. and like get ready and start work. So I'm just waiting for that launch, but it looks so cute. It's got like a little flower shop. They do like events. So I'm really excited to go and give that a try. So that's going to be my new little midweek routine. I'm going to go and do a midweek morning Pilates when that eventually launches. So that's kind of what is going on life-wise at the minute. This week is just a pretty standard week. I actually spent quite a lot of time on Friday just bashing through a load of admin and basically organising all of our calls, our team calls for the end of the year. So we've got like lives that we do every week. So I just sat and like planned all those out, got all those out in our group chat, plan them all. And then I also planned, I'm so proud of myself for this, I planned all of our events for 2026. So we've got, I think it's like 8 or 9 events in total, but we've got some really, really cool things happening next year. And I'm really excited. And I feel like because I've sat and I've planned them in advance, I've been able to really mold them to what I want them to be. So I'm actually super excited for this, and this is something that is really important to me, is I want to create a whole experience. I don't just want it to be, here's a nutrition plan, here's a training plan. I want it to be like a whole culture and a whole like immersive community, and I want the events to replicate that. So that's what I've basically been thinking about, is right, how do I make this like a whole culture type thing? So we've planned some really, really cool events for next year, which I cannot wait to announce. I'm just finalising them, and then they will be getting announced to clients in our like newsletter, group chat, etc. So I'm super, super excited for that. But anyway, I've literally got 2 minutes to get out the door and I need to go and grab some food. So I'm gonna head off, and I'm going to go get my brows sorted, because as you can see, they are not looking good right now. Okay, just super quickly, and then I actually do need to run out the door. I wanted to show you this while we're on the topic of skincare, because I got this and I am obsessed. So I've had quite a few nice, I don't know if you can see this, quite a few nice little comments on my skin, and I'm not really someone that likes wearing makeup loads, but I also think when I am like on calls and stuff, like, and going out, I want to look, you know, fresh, don't want to look tired faced. So that's why I like getting my brows and my lashes done, because I just feel like it makes the world of difference. And then this is the, I'm probably going to butcher this, it's the Korean brand, Korean Skin Therapy Erborian, Erborian, and it's the CC water, but it's the water-based one. It comes out as like a clear gel, and it's really nice, like super light coverage but very glowy. So would highly recommend if you are someone like me that doesn't like wearing his makeup but wants a bit of a fresh look. But anyway, yeah, need to actually go and get my brows done now. Okay, I have just come out of my appointment. I don't know whether you can actually see my lashes and brows. Maybe I'll take my glasses off. You can kind of see my brows. Okay, they look very full on right now, but obviously you have to like leave them and let them mull. Is that the right word? To let them set. So you can't get them wet for like, I think it's like 48 hours. So they do look very spiky right now, but once they are settled, obviously then they like die off a bit. So I have them laminated, waxed, tinted, etc. My eyeballs are really dark anyway. But obviously once they've settled down, you just brush them and they're all nice and smooth and things like that. And then I did get my lashes done. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see? So you can see they're all like curly, and again they're quite stuck together right now, but once they've settled and I can brush them a bit better, they'll look a lot nicer. But yeah, I just really like it. It just makes me feel a lot more put together, and then yeah, just a lot better in myself. So I much prefer these. I used to get lashes stuck on and they just used to fall off all the time. So yeah, I just get LVL now. And then these are my nails. Look how cute. Focus. Here we go. Look, they're like little French tips, but they're like chocolate brown and cream spotty. So they're my nails. So that was quite a big appointment, to be fair. It's been a bit of a crazy day today actually, because I got up and what have I done today? So I got up and I trained push this morning. So like I said, I've started doing the gym early, so I did push, abs and cardio. I then came back, I had an admin meeting, and then I did some client messages, had some food, and then I had a shower, etc., got ready, and then I went to train one of my clients. So I'm training one of my clients in person at the minute because she just needs a little bit more support, and we have a session every week and it's really nice, and she's lost nearly 20 kilograms now, which is insane. So shout out to Tanya. But yeah, she's absolutely smashing it. So she has got a very big weight loss journey, like a lot of weight to lose. So I'm just meeting her once a week at the minute. So went and had a session and a chat with her, which is really lovely. And then I came back quickly, did a little bit more work, and then obviously I've come to my appointment, so I need to actually go back home now and sit down and actually get some work done, because we've got a client live tonight and it's going to be basically talking through all things training. So we're going to do like a big deep dive into training and how to like navigate feeling comfortable with eating more food when you are a female trying to build muscle. So we're going to delve into some mindset bits around like building muscle as a female and how to actually build your food up and get more confident with eating more food. So that's going to be the topic. So I need to sit down. I've already drafted that, but I need to like finalize it, put some finishing touches on the presentation, and then that's going to be tonight at 6:30. So anyway, the topic that I actually wanted to talk about today, which we will finally get round to now I've waffled on for ages,
And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I am in a position at the minute where I'm spending time away from dieting, building up my food, obviously getting back into like full strength training after surgery, which is going pretty well, I must say. And I've had this with clients recently where, you know, I've got girls that are moving away from dieting, building their calories up, and they are going away for maybe a meal out or weekend and then basically feeling kind of like a little bit guilty for it essentially. And I just wanted to talk about this whole mindset really, which is actually really, really common in a lot of females, which is about the whole like dieting loop that a lot of females stay stuck in, and basically the process of like restricting and then, you know, feeling a bit guilty, which a lot of females do feel with like eating out, and then feeling like you have to restart over. And I really just wanted to touch on, like, I think my opinion on dieting, right, is that dieting is a very get in, get the job done, get out type thing. So I think where a lot of women go wrong is they try and like stay in dieting but make it like a lifestyle. So what basically happens if you're trying to diet with a lot of flexibility because you want to make it a lifestyle, you know, you don't want to be restrictive, blah blah blah, then you end up essentially having to diet for a really, really long time, and you end up suffering the negative effects of dieting, like without actually getting the rewards of dieting. So in my opinion, it's much better to get in, get the job done properly, get your diet phase finished, and then come out and be able to maintain in a more flexible spot. And this might be controversial, but in my opinion, like, dieting should be harsh, it should be extreme, because, you know, you get the results and then you finish dieting and you can build in more flexibility. Whereas if you're always like, oh, it's okay, I want to diet flexibly, you end up just dieting for ages and ages and ages, and like it just takes over, and you're then stuck in the constant dieting loop. So in my opinion, like, yes, like, you want to live your life, right? I love going out for a meal. I just went away for a weekend and had a really, really nice weekend away, like lots of meals out. I'm not dieting at the minute, right? And I'm still fairly sensible as well when I do eat out, but you can afford then to do that. Whereas in a dieting phase, like, I would not have done that. So dieting, in my opinion, is a very get in, get the job done and get out. And a lot of people will be like, oh, like, you know, it's creates a bad relationship with food, going out and you know, being restrictive, and why are you tracking all your food, etc. But dieting serves a very specific purpose, and I really think if you can get in, get the job done and get out, you actually suffer far less negativity than faffing about and spending ages dieting because flexibility. So anyway, rant over. Not really a rant, but you get what I mean. So I really want to talk about today a little bit around human behavior with dieting, and, you know, being in that cycle of like being on it and then being off it, and kind of the whole restarting side of things and how this affects you people emotionally and things like that. So I really wanted to kind of cover that today. So anyway, I'm going to drive home because I really, really need to get some work done, and it is nearly 4 o'clock. I'm going to hit all the rush hour traffic, which is great. So I'm going to drive home and I will catch you later. So I am back and I have got my next meal, which is my bagels. So since changing my day around a little bit and training early in the morning, my meal timing has changed a little bit. I've got a little sausage dog with me. Say hello. It's Denzi. Oh yeah, you'd like an egg bagel, wouldn't you? Not for you. So my meals are now in a slightly different order. But something that I want to touch on that really, really helps me when it comes to kind of the mindset around, you know, sticking with a plan when you are dieting, whatever phase you're in, is having sort of a structure with your meals. And rather than just saying, okay, I'm gonna try my food and see what happens, or, you know, I'll just hit XYZ calories, having like a set structure. So like for me, for example, I will have a set, my dog keeps eating, Pibby's on a diet and she keeps eating Danzel's food, so I have to really watch her. Actually, I'm just gonna go pick that up. What I was saying then was it really helps having a set structure. So rather than just going through your day, I mean, okay, I'm just going to see how it goes, see how it works, is actually having like a set structure with your day. So for example, I have 6 meals on a training day. A couple of them are quite small meals, like one of them is Greek yogurt and fruit, but having like set meals and having them at set times as I go through the day. So like I have a set routine and a set schedule that I follow, and that really helps me, like regardless of what phase I'm in, having set timings through the day, knowing, and obviously once you've done it a while, you get to know
you just fall into a habit with it, and it just becomes then like a part of your day. It's like when you work in an office, like you have your lunch at the same time. You have a lunch break. You don't have to remind yourself to do that. It just happens. And it's the same like once you start doing it this way, you kind of fall into a habit and a routine with it, and that really, really helps me. And I've had to rejig mine up a little bit, which has thrown me off a bit recently. But that is something that really helps, when you are sort of slightly coming away from dieting a little bit, is having a bit of a structure and having kind of set meal timings that you can follow. But anyway, we went on a slight tangent there, but that includes the weekends as well. And coming back to like my first point I was making around like why a lot of people really, really struggle with dieting, and why I used to really struggle with dieting, is because I would have this mindset of like being really on it and being really structured through the week, sticking to my meal timings, getting all the good stuff in, and then it would get to the weekend and all the structure would go out the window, all the meal timings would go out the window, everything would just become a lot less structured. And I think that is a lot of like how people are, just live the life, because people go out for food and things at the weekend. But sorry, my dog is trying to get outside. Like, trying to keep that structure at the weekend. So like on a weekend, for example, I will have all of my normal meals and I'll just have like a meal out on a weekend. And when I'm dieting, honestly, I don't eat out. I just have all my normal meals. So getting in that mindset where you like treat the weekend as a normal day, it really, really helps just create that structure, create that consistency, and actually get better results long term, which it can be quite difficult when you are in that process of like transitioning, maybe from the mindset you are in now into like a more of a structured mindset if you are wanting to get better results. But it really helps like creating that continuity through the week into the weekend of still having the same meals, having the same meal timings, like create that structure and replicate that structure over the weekend. Because I say this to my clients all the time, like, right, your weekend is literally like a third of your week pretty much. So if you are completely losing all your structure, all your routine every single weekend, and don't get me wrong, where I have weekends when I'm not dieting where I go away, like I just had one this weekend where I went away, took some of my own food, but I did eat out a lot. But that is a very rare occasion, that's not happening by any means every weekend. It's not even happening every month. It's very rare. It's probably, I'm going to say 3 to 4 times a year that I would do that when I'm not dieting. So it's just thinking about creating that structure and creating that routine and carrying that on into your weekend. It really, really helps a lot more versus just having like on it through the week and then off it through the weekend. So yeah, anyway, that's my take home. I'm going to go and eat these bagels before they go cold. Okay, so I have just been sat doing some admin. I feel like I've got loads to do because I've been out quite a lot today, like training, PT session, dog walk, eyelash appointment, bits of admin in between, client messages, but I feel like I need to sit down and get a solid workload done. So anyway, I'm doing a live tonight, and I thought I would show you because I've just finished designing the live for my clients. So this is something we do every Monday. So 6:30 every Monday we do like a live on a load of different topics. I've actually just sat and on Friday should I say, I sat and brainstormed out the lives for like the rest of the year. So we've got some really, really good stuff coming up, which I'm actually so excited for. So I'll tell you some of the lives we've got planned. I also sat and planned out, this is organisation for me, I sat and planned out the whole of 2026 events, which I'm so pleased I've done that because all the dates are in. We've got some really cool stuff coming up. But anyway, I've planned out all the lives. So we've got one. Tonight's is about a building phase. It's called Building Phase 101, Eating More Without Fear. And we're going to cover why you're not gaining fat just because you're eating more, understanding body composition changes, how to know if you're fueling enough, and then we're going to do a little drop-in where people can basically ask, or the girls, should I say, can ask anything about their like current phase. So I'm really excited for this. I'll show you quickly some of the slides that we've got. So this is, let me just show you this. This is basically, you can see on my screen, it's like a little presentation. These are the topics we're covering. But yeah, there's quite a few slides here that are just gonna like go through stuff. So I'm actually really excited for this. So yeah, that is, oh god, that was a bit close. That is tonight's live. And then next week we've got one on optimizing your coaching. So like understanding how to get the most from your coaching, how to review your progress properly, which data you actually want to be tracking and why, how to review your own progress, because the goal with coaching is to be able to become self-sufficient in what you're doing and to be able to have the knowledge and education yourself to be able to implement things yourself. And then obviously people stay because they enjoy it and they love it and they want to be a part of it basically. We've got one that is about how to stay consistent when it's not exciting, like how to actually reframe it when you feel like you're not making progress, things like that. We've got a bit of a process-based goal session, a bit of a motivation one. Then we've got one around the period nutrition and training, how to align your cycle with your goals. We're going to go through all hormones, some common mistakes we make. Again, we do a drop-in on this isn't the Never Sporting, which is going to be cool, I think. How to recover, how to manage your PMS. And then December, we've got one, navigating December without undoing your progress, how to like enjoy Christmas and stuff. A training deep dive, looking at how to know if you're training hard enough, some common mistakes, how to understand and manage like fatigue, recovery, deloads. Got a mindset one, which is like an end of year one, which I'm really excited for, which is going to be like reflecting on 2025, wins, lessons, growth, goal setting for next year. That's going to tie into a really, really cool event I've got planned in January, which I cannot wait to announce. I need to actually think about announcing that soon and launching it. And then we're going to have a little festive check-in. So we're basically all planned up now for the end of the year, which is super exciting. So that's one thing on my list. And yeah, I'm excited to do this live. So I've got about 45 minutes until this live tonight, basically. And that is that, essentially. So something else I did want to touch on a little bit, just kind of tying in with the live and the whole, I spoke a lot in this live specifically about taking time away from dieting. And I think one of the biggest things and why this is so important, and I think why a lot of women also struggle with like, the yo-yo thing, is because they never actually allow themselves planned time away from dieting. And I definitely used to be guilty of this when I was a lot younger, but actually, it really annoys me that you can see the reflection of my glasses. But actually, I would diet and then I would come away from dieting and I'd be like free for all. Whereas I think a really big part of being able to diet well and being able to stick to a diet and not feeling like you're spending your whole time dieting is having structured time away from dieting. And by that, I don't just mean, coming away from dieting and eating what you want. I mean actively working to build up your calories, to get your calories nice and high, fuel yourself properly, have time actively trying to push your calories up, because you will feel a lot more satisfied, a lot better in yourself, a lot more energy. And then it means by the time you get to dieting, you feel ready to diet. And guess what? You stick to your diet better because you've had that structure, you've had that time building your calories up, and you just mentally feel ready. So that's probably a super big bit of advice I would give if you are really struggling to diet, is actively take some time away from dieting and work on building your calories up, have a good structure in place and get all that locked in, because you will feel so much better when it comes to dieting, trust me. And that is what I'm going to talk about in tonight's live, which I'm very excited for. So anyway, I'm just going to go and do a bit more work. I've made a little list, and I don't know if anyone else finds this, but I feel like I constantly have so much in my head with like social media, admin. I'm actually trying in the minute to outsource admin, because I've realised I do so much admin, and it's like I always think, oh, I'll just do it because it's quicker than telling someone else what to do. But I've realised I need to outsource my admin and get basically an assistant to help me with my admin. So that's next on my agenda. But today I've done the live. I've got 3 different clients that I need to go through some form videos for. I need to put an Instagram story on because I had the weekend off and we went to pool and it was lovely, but I haven't posted on social media since Friday, or it was even Thursday, so I need to put a little video together and just basically put some bits on Instagram. I need to film a podcast. I've got so much to do tonight. I need to do my actual Instagram post. I've got a client post going live, and yeah, that's my night. And it is like 5 o'clock, 5:30. It's 5:30. So I really need to just get my head down tonight and get some serious admin done.
Hello and happy Tuesday. So I am just getting ready. Oh, I left my makeup in the other room. Ignore the mess. I'm selling some clothes on Vinted and they are just out on the side right now. So I've just got up and I've just walked the dog. So it's Tuesday today and today is also leg day. So I said yesterday, obviously I've been doing a lot of my sessions in the morning. So my leg session on a Tuesday, I do it in the evening because it's quite a big leg session and takes me a long time, to be honest. So I like doing it in the evening just so I don't have to like rush through it. And also I get really tired after this leg day, so it just means I can do it in the evening and then come back and go to bed. And tonight is hair wash and like tan night, so that falls perfectly. But yeah, I've just got up and I've just walked the dog, so I'm just going to quickly get ready and then I need to go and have some breakfast. Got some washing on this morning, fed the dogs, so that's all good. I've got like 6,000 steps done this morning, so nice and early, boxed off and about to start work. So it's my first check-in day of the week today, so it's going to be mainly check-ins. I've got a client call, I've got some bits and bobs I need to do some account stuff today as well. And some social media stuff, so quite a few little like bits and bobs to do today. But yeah, last night I basically just ended up, I had the live and then I had quite a lot of client form videos to go through. So I basically went on my walking pad and just finished off those. They took me about 45 minutes last night. So basically just went for, walked a bit and did some. So yeah, today's a pretty standard week to be honest. This week is a pretty standard week to be honest. So I just wanted to touch on something I was talking about yesterday around, dieting and just generally around struggling to stick to a diet potentially and feeling like you're always on the train of like dieting, feeling like you can never really stick to a diet or get anywhere with a diet. And I know I touched on the importance of like spending time away from dieting. And like I said yesterday, what a lot of people will do is they will kind of diet through the week and then be more flexible at the weekend, and you end up basically in this really tough position where you're like back and forward with dieting, you make a bit of progress and then you feel like you're 10 steps back again, and it takes so long to get anywhere, and you then feel like you are getting the negative effects of dieting without the positive effects of dieting, which is just not a fun situation to be in. So I just wanted to talk a little bit around that basically concept, and it can be really tough because I think that also leads to a lot of lack of confidence or feeling like you are just labeling yourself as someone that basically can't make progress with dieting. So I wanted to talk a little bit this morning just about the idea of actually building your calories up, because I think for a lot of women this can feel quite scary, and I know it definitely was for me. But the concept of, if you are struggling to stick to a diet, or if you feel like you're in a prolonged state of dieting, one of the best things you can actually do is actually come away from being restrictive and come into a time where you're actually fueling your body adequately. So and this is the whole concept, of actually eating properly and eating more often breaks this plateau of like chronic dieting or feeling like you're just stuck in dieting. And it's something that a lot of women are quite nervous about. But I will, I've had this with a lot of girls that come to me and they've been dieting for a really long time or trying to diet, and actually the best thing they can do in that time, in the time going forward, is actually build their calories up and look at eating more. And actually just spending some time away from dieting, because when we look at and when we actually break down the hunger hormones, you've got your leptin, your hunger hormones essentially get dysregulated when you diet. So you've got leptin and ghrelin, which are your two hunger hormones. Like, they control how full you actually feel after a meal and how satiated, and B, how like hungry you actually get and what drives your appetite. So they get dysregulated, you end up basically not feeling as full and satisfied after a meal, and you also end up feeling just generally hungrier in yourself. So it takes a little bit of eating enough, fueling yourself, giving your body the fuel it actually needs to feel satisfied and to feel like kind of not starving all the time. So it can be so beneficial, especially as a female, like actually spending some time away from dieting, spending some time, like building up your food, getting your calories in a really, really nice spot. And it then sets you up so much better, because then when you come to dieting, you're mentally ready, your calories are nice and high, and you're actually able to stick to a diet. So it just makes life so much easier, I promise you. And something to also consider as well is just, keeping consistency with your meal structure. And I touched on this yesterday and I bang on about this all the time, but if you have consistent meals, so you have set meal timings, you have similar meals day to day, you build a really good routine, your hunger, your mood, your energy will be so much better, and it makes the process of being able to stick to a diet or a building phase so much better. And I definitely used to be one of those girls that would just like track the macros and eat whatever whenever and add it up as I went through the day. And I promise you, since I've been on a meal plan and I have set meal times, I know how many meals I'm eating, it like builds a much better routine. Like I found the whole process of dieting and coming away from dieting so much easier. And I used to be that girl that couldn't diet. I just was like, I just can't stick to a diet, I just don't lose weight very easily. And I promise you, since I've had more structure, set meal times, set meals, it is a game changer. So if you're going to take one thing from this, get yourself a meal structure, get yourself a bit of a plan with your meal timings, get yourself a set number of meals, and I promise you, you will find it a lot easier to stick to whatever phase you're in, whether that be a building phase, whether that be a dieting phase. So that is my one little tip from today. Okay, so I have just sat down with my breakfast. It's a rest day today, so I've got my normal 50 grams of oats, 100 grams of berries, 25 grams of whey, and 20 grams of peanut butter. So I've just had quite a productive morning actually. So got up, did my second cardio session of the week. So I'm on 2 lots of 20 minutes cardio at the minute. So I just got up and got that done. And then I had a shower, washed my hair because it was really in need of a wash, dried it, sorted it out, shaved, epilated my arms, fake tanned, so little self-care morning, and then just took the dogs, had a coffee and then took the dogs out for a walk. So it was a slightly shorter walk this morning because I'm going to take them on a bigger one later, but I've done like 4,000 steps, so that's a good start. And then just about to sit down and start work. So I actually didn't end up filming anything yesterday because honestly I just had a really not a great day. So I will talk about this in another video because I feel like this is a whole other video for another time. But I really struggle for like a week, just over a week leading into my period, which was still trying to get to the bottom of, but it just really sometimes can throw my head off. So basically it took me all day to get I had client check-ins yesterday, so that was like the main focus of the day. And then I did end up going to the gym in the evening, which I literally had to drag myself to go to the gym. But I made it, did my leg session, it was actually a good session, and then just got back, had food and went to bed, but feel so much better today. But anyway, we'll save that. That's a whole other episode which we'll do around like periods and how you manage that mentally and things like that. When you are constantly having to think about what you're eating and making decisions around what meal you're going to have and whether it fits in your calories and having to track it and things like that, you basically build up decision fatigue. And although it only seems like a really small decision that you're having to make, when you're constantly having to make all these decisions through the day, that's going to lead to you constantly having to think all the time, and you'll end up, if you're a bit tired or you're a bit hungry, you'll end up making a decision that doesn't actually align with your goals. So something that really helps is having a meal plan or having like a set structure with your meals. Even if you say if you're eating 4 or 5 meals a day, even if you have 3 or 4 of those meals set and then you track your own evening meal, but just like for me, I just like having a plan, knowing what I'm eating every day. And it means then when I'm stressed and when I am busy and I've got stuff going on, I know that I'm still hitting my nutrition targets and making progress, because pre-planning your meals is going to remove 90% of the stress. So this is something that I would advise if you are trying to build muscle, if you are trying to lose body fat, is pre-plan your meals or follow a meal plan, because trust me, it will make your life so much easier and it will take a lot of the stress away. And I used to be really anti-meal plan, and I used to be just track my food, and it was the consistency was so much worse. So yeah, anyway, I'm on my rest day food today, so I might show you a little bit more about what I eat today and we'll go from there. So I have just sat down with my lunch. I have got a tuna salad, so it's basically like lettuce, tomato, cucumber and tuna and some light salad cream, and then I've got 20 grams of nuts as well, just like sprinkled on top. Something I do want to do, I went to Poole last weekend and we went to this really gorgeous like salad place where you could like had like pre-made salad bowls, and it was just really nice, like not your normal salad like lettuce, tomato, cucumber. It was like butternut squash, different fats like smoked salmon, and it was so good. So I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna see if I can find the menu online and do a bit of research and see if I can basically like batch cook all the bits of the salad and then do like a build your own salad bowl type thing at lunch for us next week. So that's going to be on my agenda for the weekend, because I think that will be a lot nicer, and I can use my free calories that I have to basically build those out. But anyway, just finished a morning of check-ins, and well, I've got 2 more left actually, and then I'm about to jump on a new client call at 12 o'clock. So it's an inquiry call with a potential new client, which I absolutely love these. They're my favourite. Just have a good chat, go through, specifically what the struggles are, get to know her a little bit, and just basically see if we would be a good fit to work together. So I always love these. So that's at 12 o'clock, and then I've got a call at 1 o'clock with one of my like business clients who I'm mentoring a little bit, which is super exciting. And then I've also got a team training call at 3. So myself and Lily and Kelsey do a call every Wednesday at 3, which basically is helping them become like the best coaches they possibly can be. So we do like client case studies, we do like check-in reviews, we go through how to improve their social media, and basically like leveling up
I'm just going through something education based. So we always do another call on a Friday as well, which is like going through their clients and anything they're struggling with, and sort of making sure they're up to date with their calls with their clients and just kind of keeping an eye on things. But the one on Wednesday is more like education, training from a coach perspective. They're also doing a nutrition course at the minute, which is exciting. So I'm going to pass over the details for that so they can start to get going on it. So yeah, that's the plan for today.
Okay, one more thing and then I'm actually going to crack on with work. So I know I've spoke a lot in this video about spending time away from dieting, about like meal timings, keeping up your structure, and also carrying on your routine on a weekend, which I know I spoke about earlier, and I said like your weekend is a big part of your progress overall. So it's really important if you have a goal that you're still sticking to the goal on the weekend, because otherwise it can really kind of derail things off a little bit. So just really important, for example, if you're going out for dinner, like you're still keeping your goals in mind and things like that. But I guess wanted to talk a little bit more around as well, because a lot of people, I think, when you feel like you're stuck in a bit of a dieting cycle and you feel like you're maybe not getting the progress you want and you're not really sure what to do, it can get quite disheartening, I think. And I've definitely been here, feeling like you are putting in the effort but then you're not really getting the results that you want. So I wanted to chat a little bit around like how you can essentially break down that cycle, because I do think a lot of it with dieting comes down to like building self-trust in yourself, and it's the same with anything, right? Like when you say you are going to do something, like self-trust comes from following through on those little tasks you've set yourself. And rather than being like, I've said I'll go to the gym, but I'll just do it another day instead. Like if you are constantly doing that, and you're basically like not following through, you erode the trust in yourself and your own ability, and then you feel like you become someone that can't follow through, or you can't finish your diet, or you just can't lose weight, and you then kind of adopt that as like your version and your opinion of yourself. So I really think when you set yourself a goal, like if you say, right, I'm going to diet, these are my calories, I'm going to stick to this, I'm going to go to the gym on these days, these are the meals I'm going to eat, like really making sure that you stick with that and you follow through with that, and you just stick to your plan and what you've told yourself you're going to do, because it's ticking off those little boxes. It gives you that self-belief to be like, actually, yes, I can do this. And I promise you, if you spend time away from dieting, come back into dieting and really commit yourself to that diet phase, or the phase that you are in generally, if you follow through and tick all the little boxes, you will build so much trust in yourself, in your own business, and your own journey, and kind of what you can achieve. I said business then because I was thinking about it from a business perspective as well. I was thinking like, actually, that also applies to building a business. But anyway, and also understanding like this process does take time. This process of fat loss, building muscle, like whatever you're doing, like it really does take time. And I think often, you know, it gets disheartening if you feel like you've had a really great week of nutrition and then you haven't necessarily got the results straight away. It can feel disheartening, but like it does take time. And a lot of the time with fat loss, well, all the time really, it's not the past week, it's multiple weeks on end. So if you have 2 good weeks and then you go away for a weekend and you feel like you're back to square one, like I honestly am a big believer with dieting that you need a good solid run of consistency to really get good fat loss. You can't just dip in and out of it, because like I said at the start, you end up in this situation where you end up like perpetually dieting forever and ever and ever because you're not really getting to where you want to be. So I really do think just going in with the mindset of being like, right, this is my goal, this is what I'm going to do, follow through with it, it really makes the absolute world of difference. So anyway, enough rambling, I'm going to go. I need to finish these check-ins before I do this client call or new client call, and we'll catch up later. Okay, so a little bit later, and I'm just cooking some dinner. So we've got some steak, I'll show you the pan, and we've got some sweet potatoes that will put in the air fryer, and then just some kale in the air fryer at the minute. So this is my 3rd meal for the day on my rest day. I've just got a little bit more stuff to do tonight, so I'm basically going to sit and do some content stuff, just sit on the sofa. So that's the plan for the evening. I guess one of the final things, let me just move away from this pan because it's very loud. I wanted to talk through it, I guess, just to wrap this video up a little bit as well, is like, and this applies through a dieting phase, through kind of a building phase, to whatever phase you're in, is the importance of like sticking to whole foods as much as you can in your diet, because I think it's really easily done when you're in a dieting phase. The instinct is to go for like you know, low calorie options, or when I say low calorie options, I mean like Fibre One bars and things that are like low calorie snacks and things like that. And same when you're in a building phase, it's really easy to then grab like snacks to actually fill you up and to hit your calories. But, and this is something again I used to really struggle with, is I used to like, instead of meals, I would end up just having loads of like heavily processed like protein snacks basically. And I think it really, really helps when you are looking at breaking a dieting cycle, being consistent with a diet, actually taking time away from dieting, building your calories up to a good spot, but making sure like your food quality is still really, really good, because digestion will be better, you'll feel better, your training will be better. I know I used to really struggle with a lot of bloating, and I promise you, since I went like more whole food based and cut out all the shit basically, my digestion has been so much better. My cravings have been far less, because I often find when you fill in your day full of these like highly processed, like sugary snacks, a lot of the time it actually drives those cravings even more. So I think one of the best things you can do is focus on actually eating quality foods. Like, make sure that the food you're eating is actually really, really good quality, and it makes the world a difference. And then rather than just adding snacks, you basically just add in more higher quality meals, and that honestly just is a game changer in my opinion. Anyway, I've just remembered I've left the steak in the pan, so I need to go and take it out the pan, and we'll wrap up this video a bit later. Okay, so I am just editing the video and realised I never recorded the ending, so I'm just coming on here quickly to wrap up this video. I really, really hope this has been helpful. I know this has been quite a long video, but hopefully it has helped a little bit in terms of talking through different concepts around nutrition and how I essentially manage my nutrition to make life easier, to get better results and to stay consistent, which is ultimately what we all want, right? So please do let me know if this was helpful. If there's anything you would like me to chat more about, drop me a message and I will be back soon.